dude you played was Dave Madden's role as Ruben Kincaid. Thank you so much. These are good, but they're just not the same as they used to be. So if you don't know, this is a Tim Hortons donut. And if you're Canadian, you know all about this donut and this coffee chain. In fact, Tim Hortons began in the very place I grew up in, Hamilton, Ontario, so it's really been a part of my childhood as long as I can remember. Now, just recently, Tim Hortons made the news as the company announced plans to refocus its operations after a year that saw dozens of product launches and promotions drag down its sales.
Tim's brand has taken a significant hit.
I also found out today that Tim Hortons sales continued to drop in the last quarter of 2019, and the company, as a result, Christina said, we're going to do a back to basics program.
The CEO announced that they want to refocus on their founding values, and of course, these are the things that made them famous with their customers over the years.
Your neighborhood, Tim Hortons, where the coffee's always 20 minutes fresh.
Up early, Bob?
And the donuts and muffins and cookies are made right in the kitchen.
Careful, it's hot.
They plan to use their values as the basis for their 2020 plans going forward. So let's talk about values for a moment. Values are so important to an organization, and of course it's not only for your customers to understand, but it's to realize what you stand for as a company. They kind of serve as, think of it like guiding principles in decision making, guiding principles in prioritization, strategy, and ultimately to guide your people on behavior, culture, and the path to profitability and success. So stick around, and on the other side, I'm going to share with you what my best clients know to ensure they not only have the best values, but also how to make them come alive in everything that they do. Good. I'm Rob Odie. I'm an expert in change, strategy, and leadership development. I work with the best of the best to accelerate change, improve strategy, and get people talking most about what really matters. You can visit me at www.robodie.com. So back to core values. And of course, these are these random fluff words we often see in frames in corporate offices, right? Question is, do they actually really mean anything to anyone? And then number two, is there an actual purpose to them from a strategic management and leadership perspective? Because clients always say, oh, we have to do our core values. We have to outline our core values, but they tend to think of it from a marketing perspective, not in terms of their operations. So short answer is yes and yes. Core values are the things that you believe are most important in the way you live and in the way you work. So ultimately, these values should determine your priorities and the priorities of your organization. They are what support the vision of your company and help shape its culture. So back to the donut. After this news story came out about Tim Hortons and wanting to refocus their operations on their values, I actually spent a bit of time trying to find out what their values are. Are you ready? Here's a hint. I have no idea. I went up and down the Tim Hortons website, couldn't find anything. So then I went to their parent company, RBI's website, Restaurant Brands International. Couldn't find anything either. I even called their toll-free customer service number.
Hello, and thank you for calling Tim Hortons Guest Services Department. For English, press 1.
What are some of the core values or founding values of the company, please?
The core value of funding, what?
The core values or the founding values of the company.
One moment, if you don't mind, can I put you on hold?
Sure, go ahead. Let's see if they come back with it. It's kind of weird that you have to be put on hold for someone to look up their core values. It should be something that people know right off the bat. Seven minutes.
Hello? Yeah, thanks for holding on.
She hung up on me. All right, let's try this again.
Hi, thank you for calling Tim Hortons Guest Relations. My name is José. How can I help you?
I wonder if you can share with me what are some of Tim Hortons' corporate values or their founding values, please?
No, no, no.
No! No!
What? No.
No!
Unfortunately, we are not given that information. This information is not available to me or to any other agent.
Do you personally know what the core values are? Like, do they ever share them with you by any chance?
No.
If you are the CEO at Tim Hortons and you're watching this video, and frankly, I don't know why you would not be watching this video, here are what my best clients know about core values. Number one, the meaning of words lie in people and not in the words themselves. So, words in a frame are simply that. They're words in a frame. Fact is, these words need to have meaning, and the meaning has to be able to translate into something that your people not only understand, but can use as guiding principles for their decision making, for their actions, for strategy. So, for instance, if you're a donut shop and one of your core values is, you know what, we deliver quality through freshly baked products daily, then you know it's important for your company to not serve things that are baked days earlier or not have products maybe coming off the shelf from a conveyor belt from miles away just to save a dime. The words you choose matter and the people must be able to understand them. Number two, and this one's really important, you have to operationalize your values once you have determined what they are. So it's one thing to have words on a wall, but it's another to operate in accordance with what those core values or guiding principles are. Your core values need to be reflected not only in your overall strategy or strategies, but also in the tactics you execute to bring that strategy to life. Think of it kind of serving as a recipe or a check and balance to ensure you're staying true to who your company is and what it stands for. Because ultimately, you know the saying, if you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything. And a lot of companies do that, and that's why a lot of companies don't have a USP, and that's why they fail. Last but not least, and this is number three, and frankly, this is not a common one, but it should be. As organizations are made up of people, and we know that it's people who create change, not the organization itself, the values need to be reinforced when it comes to people. So you can do this in a multitude of ways. One of the ways you can do it is by having core values be part of people's quarterly, monthly, annual reviews, okay? So you can determine how well they're aligning their behavior and their outcomes with the values of your organization. And number two, you can make them part of an employee recognition program, because you really should be rewarding people who are conducting themselves in accordance with your values. Because ultimately what that means is they're exemplifying the company way in everything that they do and how they work. So there you have it. Number one, the meaning of your words lie in people. Number two, you want to operationalize those values, take them from paper to action. And number three, you want to do reinforcement. You want to have mechanisms to continually reinforce them, and then you're on your way to living out your core values. So if you need help with your core values or with change, strategy, coaching, or building great leaders, you can visit me at www.robodie.com. Until then, I am going to finish this donut in accordance with one of my core values, which is to never waste food. See you soon.